Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Ericka Champion Wise, an elite independent consultant with Paparazzi, and I'm excited that you're here. So we need to have a chat. We need to have a real life chat about something that is in actuality really hurting you. And so if you don't like what I have to say, that's okay. Don't leave me a nasty comment, but it needs to be said. And if you will wrap your head around this and really accept that I'm not saying this to be mean, but I'm really saying this to help you and to set you free from something, I think you'll love it. I think you'll come around to my way of thinking. So don't write me off yet. Okay, you know I love you, and you know I do all of these videos, even the ones that are controversial, out of love. So I titled this thing, Stop Convincing People. We need to do that. You need to stop convincing folks. I see it every day on Facebook. I see it every day on actually every social media, but Facebook is kind of the biggest one, where somebody says something contrary about paparazzi or about being a consultant or about this, that, and the other, and then all these consultants just run to defend and to convince somebody that paparazzi is fabulous and amazing. Girl, I commend you. You go. Yes, I love it. Thank you for loving paparazzi enough to fight for it. However, you don't need to. You don't need to convince people how amazing our product is. We got enough customers out there. They know how amazing this is. You don't need to go to battle over somebody, some keyboard warrior saying something cruel. You don't need to do that. You don't need to defend the honor of paparazzi, because quite frankly, paparazzi pays some awesome attorneys to do that for them. These people on the internet need to realize that paparazzi has a team of attorneys that defend their honor. Okay, so be careful what you say about paparazzi. They don't play. So you don't have to convince somebody how incredible our company is. You don't have to defend it when somebody says something untoward, as it were, okay? So that also rolls over into stop convincing people to join your team. This is where it really just I've been there though. I've been there. I can sell anything and I can convince you to do anything. I truly can. I'm really good at it. But I don't want to, and neither do you. I want you to think back to some of the best people on your team. Did you have to convince them? Did you have to cajole them? Did you have to bribe them to join your team? No. The best people on your team saw this amazing business for what it is, as killer, awesome, fabulous, and you know, they saw how fabulous paparazzi is for themselves. They used their own two eyes and their own intellect and decided, dude, I want some of this. They watched you be a success and they jumped in on their own. Did you have to answer questions? Yes. Did you have to follow up? Yes, absolutely. But you didn't have to twist their arm. You didn't have to be like, oh, you don't have to do any of that, right? So you don't have to convince people to join your team. You don't have to convince customers to shop with you. If someone says, oh, I don't do inexpensive costume, I'm like, all right, cool. Who's next? I'm not going to look at you and be like, but this does not look cheap. I ain't got time for that. I got somebody else waiting in line right behind you. So you need to just go on and get out the way so I can talk to her, because she's going to love my $5 cuteness. Because I'm not going to spend my time convincing somebody who ain't even going to be convinced in the first place. I ain't got that kind of energy. I want the one who wants what I have. I'm looking for her. I'm looking behind the person who's standing right here going, I don't want your cheap jewelry. Great, somebody else does. Let's go. Okay? You don't have to convince anybody. Some people you have to encourage, but there's a difference between encouraging and convincing someone. And I hope you know the difference. And sometimes it's nuances, and sometimes it's very big difference between convincing and encouraging. So if you have to encourage somebody, absolutely encourage somebody. But if you have to downright make them, don't do that. Because here's the thing. While you over yonder convincing Sally to join your team, because paparazzi is amazing, and yes, Sally could do great at this. But if I'm having to, while you're over there convincing Sally, I'm over here talking with Susie, and she is ready and on fire, and she's ready to go. She's like, all right, let's do this. You've missed Susie and her fire while you are spending time twisting Sally's arm and begging her and bribing her. Remember, there's a difference in convincing and encouraging. Learn what that difference is. Because if you spend all of your time convincing someone how awesome Paparazzi is and how they got to sign up and how they got to do this, you are going to miss the fire. Because you're so focused and you're so concerned and you're so scared that if this one person doesn't sign up, it's going to break your team. She's one person. She does not make or break anything for you. If your mama doesn't sign up, it's all right. Don't convince her. If your sister doesn't sign up, it's all right. Don't convince her. Because if you have to convince them to sign, you are going to have to convince and bribe and beg and plead for them to work your business. Do you want a team full of people that you got to beg to work? Or do you want a team full of people who the motivation just comes from right here? And they know how good this is. And you just need to just encourage them. Remember that. Whatever you have to do in the beginning is what you're going to have to do for the lifetime of that consultant. Do you want to have to convince? Or do you want to just be there and encourage them and just tell them, hey, it's all right. You're afraid. I was afraid too. I got a little scared to go live. You just have to go on and do it and you'll get through it. I promise. That's encouraging. But if you got to strong arm somebody, if you got to used car salesman style sell somebody on our incredible business, you need to think twice. With all the love I have in you, don't spend your time convincing when there's somebody next in line. If you'll just take the convincer and be like, you know what, it's okay. This don't have to be for everybody. It's cool. I need good customers. Sister, don't worry about it. If you'll let that just be and step to who's next, that could be your fire. That could be the one who is just going to just light your fire, who is going to work her business because she loves it. But if all you're doing is looking at the convince, the woman you got to just beg to come on, you're missing the fire. Keep that in mind as you are recruiting. It works.